Shalom everyone, how are you? Nice seeing you. We have a special evening today. The Yom HaPtira of Rachel Imenu, our mother, Yud Cheshvan, Tafshinayim Dalet. Thank you everybody for coming. Let's start. So, everybody knows the story about Rachel. Rachel made a special heroic thing that all over the history we keep repeating and saying again and again. What did she do? Let's try to do it very briefly. What exactly is this special thing that Rachel did? Yaakov, he was a prophet, and he knew that Rachel is his soulmate. The minute that he sees her, he knows that he's going to build a family with her. So they try to arrange, this wedding. But she tells him that she knows that her father, Lavan, is he's not an honest person. And he's going to try to trick as much as he can, to make it so that it won't happen. And so they realize that he's not an honest person, so they make signs between them. Some rabbis explain what are these signs. He taught her the laws of women: chala, nida, and adlakat haner. Rachel, she grew up in a family that don't know these laws. So he taught her that Friday night women should light candles, the laws of it. He taught her what is a fashat chala. He taught her whatever he knew in his own home. His mother Rivka, his grandmother Sarah, laws of nida, what is mikveh, what is purity, what is impurity. He taught her all this. He meets Lavan, his father-in-law, and he tells him, I want to marry your daughter. Hello. And I'm willing to work for her for 7 years. Okay? 7 years she's willing to work for her. Lavan says fine. In the beginning he has no problem. For 7 years, Yaakov is engaged to Rachel. It's a long time engagement, right? For 7 years he sends her gifts, like every groom sends his bride gifts. Once it's a pair of earrings, other time it may be a book, once it's maybe, something. And Lavan takes all these gifts that Rachel gets and he gives it to Leah. We know that Lavan from the beginning did not want this marriage to happen. Lavan wanted all the time to disturb, so that Bet Israel, the house of Israel, should not be created. And so he wanted to trick Yaakov and put Leah instead. So Leah gets the gifts. Rachel sees all this and she keeps quiet. For how long people can keep quiet? A week? A month? 2 years? 7 years! She's supposed to keep quiet. See how strong she is. She keeps quiet all this time. She knows that her father will put Leah inside the day of the wedding. But then Yaakov gives her another sign. What is this other sign that he gives? So the rabbis explain that he taught her to touch certain parts of the body, the right ear, the right thumb in the hand, the right thumb in the zeh. It's a Kabbalistic terms. It's things that the Kohanim in the Holy Temple they used to do. And so she got also this to make sure that her father won't be able to trick them on the night of the wedding. So when the night of the wedding comes, he turns off all the lights. He says, we're very modest people. We don't do these things in public in a not nice way. It has to be dark. And so he puts Leah inside. Rachel, we know that she wanted very much to marry Yaakov. She wanted very much. Last week Rabbanit Batia Yehoshua, passed away. Think about this kind of a person that almost million people came to his funeral. Gedol Ador, the biggest person that everybody look up to. Such a man, Rachel is supposed to get married to. Would she give it in to her sister, to her cousin, to her friend? Nobody would like to give in for such a thing. It's a great zchut, it's a great merit. Who would like to give for such a thing? But yet, not to embarrass her sister, she's willing to do it. She's okay with this. This is something that it's hard for us to understand. How could she do such a thing? Not only this, Rachel didn't know that later on Yaakov would marry her. It could be that a son would marry her. Who would like to get married to a gangster? To the biggest terrorist, to a person that cannot control his desires, has bad influence, has bad friends, likes everything just to himself. And who wants this type of a person? Who wants this type of a husband? And she risked all of this, okay, so that her sister won't be embarrassed. Again, it's something that's hard for us to understand. What exactly does this mean? And then it says in Yirmiyahu, later on, years later, in the prophet, it says that when the Jewish people were exiled, the first temple was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and they were exiled to Babylon, they would go through a grave. And it says, Kol barama nishma, he hears a voice. Okay? Nehi b'chi tamu, somebody is crying. Rachel mevakal banei. Rachel cries for her children. Me'ana linachem, doesn't want to be comforted. Hashem tells her, why do you cry? I want to ask you a question. When the time of destruction happened, Yirmiyahu, the prophet, right away went to the grave of Avraham Avinu, went to the grave of Yitzchak, went to the grave of Yaakov, went to the grave of Moshe. He tells them, hey, wake up, the fathers, the patriarch of the Jewish nation, wake up. You know what Hashem is doing to the Jewish people? He exiles them, he punishes them. Who knows what's going to happen? As they scatter over, would they come back? Would Judaism stay? So Abraham starts to cry to Hashem. Hashem, he says, I sacrificed my son for your name. Yitzchak comes and says, I sacrificed myself, I didn't mind, for the glory of your name. Yaakov says, it was so hard for me to build this Jewish Beit Israel, and I went through a lot of struggles, through a lot of pain, and it wasn't easy. Now you want to destroy them? Moshe tells him, I was leading the people, the Jewish people, for such a long time, and we had ups, we had downs. You wanted to decimate them at that time, and I said, please no, please Hashem. And now that's the end of it, and Hashem doesn't listen to them. And then comes Rachel, and Rachel tells him, Hashem, I don't understand. So Menashe HaMelech, King Menashe, one of the weakest kings that we had, he brought Tselem La'echal. He brought an idol to the holy temple, which is a very, very severe, bad thing that he did. Now, in the holy temple, to bring an idol, avodah zarah, and you got upset. It's like a palange inside the house. It's like another woman inside the house. It's like. But he says, also brought tzara leveiti. I willingly, brought my sister in. Nobody asked me to do that. And I did that just not to embarrass my sister. When my sister would get into the chuppah, I will find out, Yaakov will find out that it's not Leah. What's going to happen? He wants to break it off in front of everybody. He says, no, I don't agree. That wasn't my agreement. I want Rachel, I don't want Leah. What would Leah feel? She will feel ashamed. She will cry all her life. She will feel embarrassed. She will feel, and this is I wanted to prevent. I didn't mind to risk everything so that she won't be embarrassed. If I brought tzara leviti, I brought my sister to marry my husband that I didn't really have to do. You can also have mercy on the Jewish people. You can also forgive them the same way I was able to do it. Hashem told her, you're right, okay. He promises, Min'i kolech mibechi, don't cry. Yesh sachar lefulatech, there is a reward for the good, heroic thing that you did. Veshavu banim legvulam. Your children are going to come back to the land of Israel. I'm not going to punish them in such a way that they will be scattered and that would be the end of it. They would come back to Israel, okay? This is something that Hashem answered her. And I want to ask you a question. Why Hashem answered Rachel and not Abraham? Abraham also sacrificed. Yitzchak also sacrificed. Yaakov, Moshe. Why Rachel? Because Abraham, he was asked, go and sacrifice your son. Yaakov, Hashem told him what to do. Moshe, Hashem put them in all kind of tests, and they went through these tests. They were okay with this. But nobody asked Rachel to do that. She did it willingly. That's the beauty of it. Yaakov and all our great fathers, they did whatever is needed to be done according to Torah and everything. Rachel did it lifni mishurat hadin. She didn't have to. And she did it. And because of that, because Hashem saw how careful she is, how sensitive she is to the pain of the other, Hashem listened to her. That's the beauty of Rachel. This is only Rachel. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, okay, Rachel was doing all this. How about Leah? She saw all of this. She didn't say anything? Seeing that her sister
beautiful question. Later on, it says that after Rachel did this beautiful thing, okay, so Yaakov got married to Leah, and a week later, even though he needs to work for her another 7 years, a week later he got married to Rachel. A week later, he gets, after the Sheva Brachot with Leah, he gets married with Rachel. But he works for her another 7 years. And Leah, Hashem sees, it says, Hashem sees that she is not so much loved like her sister, which I'll soon explain what does it mean. And so Hashem gives her children. She has Reuven, she has Shimon, she has Levi, she has Yehuda, she has Yisachar, she has Zvulun. Rachel doesn't have anything. How is the woman feeling? Lo aleinu. When it's not only her sister that is able to bring children to the world and she doesn't. It's like, I did a favor. I did a mitzvah. And it's like, Hashem is not approving it? Like, I did it for nothing? It's hard. How, when you want to make a mitzvah, you want to make a chesed, you want to help somebody, you feel good about this. But when it comes back to you, and you're getting a slap on your face, you're saying, so was I supposed to do it or wasn't I supposed to do it? She's supposed to regret it or not? How is she supposed to feel about this? And then it says that Reuven is going and he found, in the field he found this dudaim, a special a flower that has a sgula for women to get pregnant. Rachel sees it and she asks Leah, please, can I get it so that I'll be able to get pregnant? What was Leah's reaction? What was Leah's reaction? It's an answer to you. She says, it's not enough that you took my husband, that my husband loves you so much, and also you want also this? Why did Leah was so cruel? Why did she say that? Leah wasn't cruel. See the greatness of Rachel. Rachel, in her sensitivity, did this sacrifice to Leah in such a way that Leah didn't even feel that she sacrificed it all for her. Leah thought, oh, it's my father. My father, he wanted me to get married, so I got married. She didn't know that she gets the gifts, and her father gave it to her. She didn't know that Rachel got the gifts, not Leah. She didn't know that all this work of Yaakov, all the appearance over there in Haran, everything was for Rachel. She never told her, never bossed around, never showed off, never said, my husband loves me more, who are you? I made you a favor. It's because of... She didn't answer her. This is this shtika, this is this silence that Rachel had. This is this power that she had. And because of... It's not that Leah was cruel, God forbid. She didn't even realize that Rachel made such a favor, made such a big sacrifice, such a mitzvah to her. This is the beauty of Rachel. You also make a mitzvah, but you also make her feel so special. She doesn't even feel that you make a mitzvah to her. That's special. That's very, very interesting. So, Rachel, we know that Hashem listened to her and not to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because Rachel was willing to give up a house, a home. We know that women, a house is so important for them. Women don't like to depart from their home. They like to stay home. Husbands, usually they go to business trips. Sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks. They go. They have no problem with this. Women, they can't go to business trips. They're so attached to that. Yeah, you need to go to a shiur. How long it takes you to get out of the house, Until you find a babysitter. You have to put something in the washer. You have to make sure that the food is ready. You have to make sure the kids are there. Ask your husband to leave to a shiur. Bye-bye, he's out, right? It takes you so long to get out of it because you're attached to the house. And Rachel is willing to give up for this house. A house of Bet Israel, a special house with the Yaakov Avinu, special. She lived among crooked people. Lavan and all his friends, they were all crooked people. She knows what kind of society she lives in, and she doesn't like that, and she doesn't want that. And all of a sudden comes like a big angel next to, and he wants her. Won't she run to him? But she's willing to give up for this, to give, just so that it's something hard to understand, so that her sister won't be embarrassed. Something very, very hard, but this is the beauty of Rachel Imenu. I want to explain another thing about why Hashem listened to Rachel and not to Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Moshe. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov said to Hashem, we're willing to sacrifice our life for you. If needed, we'll give everything up. It says, I want to give you a story that I heard once by Rav Lau Shlita in Israel. In the year 1096, 1,000 years ago, there were the Crusades that were going from all over Europe to Israel. They wanted to save Israel from the Arabs, and on the way, they would go to all kinds of Jewish communities and kill and rob and steal and do whatever they can, because there were a bunch of gangsters themselves. They come to one of the communities in Germany, and they put a siege around the city so the Jews cannot run away. They all came to the backyard of a big church, and they stayed there. They were afraid to go outside. All their enemies are waiting for them. And the priest over there wanted to take opportunity. He said, I have a suggestion for you. The church is willing to save you. Whoever wants to convert to Christianity, okay, you have the ability to do it now. I'll take a long, big candle. As long as this candle burns, whoever wants to enter from the yard into the church will be saved. Means that he wants to convert to Christianity, he will be saved. What should they do? This community in Germany, they were not the most Orthodox people, some didn't keep kashrut the right way, some didn't keep Shabbat the right way, some didn't keep the holidays, this mitzvah, that mitzvah. The rabbi looks at them and he wants to encourage them by his look, so that, God forbid, they won't give up their Judaism and go inside this church. But he's afraid. They're not so strong people in religion. How would they hold themselves up? And then it says that as long as this candle was burning, Baruch Hashem, nobody made this mistake. They didn't get into that church, and they were willing to sacrifice their life, but not to convert to Christianity. And I want to ask you a question. How come people that on their daily life were not that religious, didn't care so much about Shabbat, didn't care so much about certain mitzvot, and all of a sudden here, when they are asked, save your life, they hold themselves and they don't do it? Because they say, sometimes when it's a one thing time that you do, people can do this heroic thing for one time. If it's to down Kiddush Hashem, they're able to do to down Kiddush Hashem. But to live on Kiddush Hashem, day by day, hour after hour, it's much, much harder. Because when you live in Kiddush Hashem, you decide, let's say, to wear a longer skirt. You decide not to wear, let's say, a long sheitel, a long zeh. You decide, let's say, to be careful in this mitzvah and in that mitzvah. Your friends, your cousins, your neighbors, your co-workers, your family are going to look at you and tell you, what's up with you? Are you crazy? Don't be fanatic, don't be this, don't be that. And to live that on a daily basis, when people want, give you compliments constantly, and people want say how great you are, it's hard. It's hard. And so they say sometimes it's easy to die on Kiddush Hashem, it's a one thing, and that's it, than to live day by day on Kiddush Hashem. See what Rachel did. Rachel, her nisayon wasn't only at that moment that she gave the simanim to her sister, and that's it. Now, every day that she lives with her sister, seeing her being able to bring children, every year bring children to the world, and she is not, isn't that nisayon much stronger than the first that she just gave this simanim? For so many years, she is not able to bring children, and it's hard. And she goes through this, and she's fine with this. We see that she never regret on this mitzvah, that if she would regret this mitzvah, Hashem wouldn't take this merit and wouldn't bring the people just for her. Okay? Means that she was happy with the decision that she did. She never regret on it. You see, this power she gives to her children. We know that her son, Yosef, was also in a terrible, terrible nisayon with Eshet Potiphar, beautiful woman. He's there, beautiful man. He's there on his own. 17-year-old, beautiful, beautiful, handsome guy. His family is not there. His brothers, they sold him out. His father is not there. His mother passed away. He's all alone. And this lady gives him some attention. Why not? And he holds himself up, and he controls himself, and he doesn't let himself get into this trap. And see, this nisayon of Yosef wasn't only at that moment that he left his coat and he ran away. It wasn't only at that moment. Because we know that right afterwards, she put him in jail, this wicked woman. She put him in jail. You know for how many years he was in jail? Lo aleinu, lo aleinu. 1 week somebody's in jail. Already he falls apart. 2 weeks he's in jail. Already he regrets on, I don't know what. A year, 2 years, 12 years, this poor guy, his young age, he's in jail all this time. For what? For being able to hold himself and not to make a sin? So the hell with this zeh, God forbid. You might think, who needed that? Maybe if I would be with her, I wouldn't go through this, being in a jail with the Egyptians. The Egyptians were not fine men. They were abusing him mentally, physically, sexually, whatever you want. It wasn't easy being there, and he could regret million times throughout these 12 years why he kept himself holy. And we know that if he would regret himself for doing this mitzvah, he wouldn't be called Yosef HaTzadik. We know that his name is Yosef HaTzadik because he was happy with his decision all this time. God forbid, never regret for this. This is the strength that he got from Rachel. We know that his descendant, Esther, in the time of Achashverosh and Haman, also comes from them. And her nisayon wasn't easy to live with this king, not a Jewish king, that doesn't care about Judaism, doesn't care about religion, doesn't care about qualities, doesn't care. He just let me enjoy, let me have women, let me have every day somebody else, and Tzaddik is supposed to live with him. And yet she's not with him one day or 1 week until this miracle will happen. It says 9 years. It happened that she was there until the miracle started. For 9 years she's supposed to be by the king, to live with him just because, and this is nisayon for her. She get this strength from Rachel Imenu. So, okay, so this is what it says. Bishar tzniut. Now I want to teach you something interesting. It says, Veyesh sachar lifulatech. Ladies, when you do a great mitzvah, Hashem counts that forever, and your kids are going to get this strength from you. מה זה veyesh sachar lifulatech? There's a reward for your action. What exactly does it mean? It says, Bishar tzniut shaya barachel, because she was modest. What does it mean she was modest? We didn't see that she was wearing a long skirt. What does it mean? Bishar tzniut shaya barachel. She got a special, one of her descendants became Shaul. Shaul was the first king. Even more than that, Yosef was the first king ever, Jewish king, that ruled for 80 years. There is no such a thing in the whole history, not only Jewish history, that a king was ruling for 80 years. And Rachel got dismarried. Okay, her son was a king for 80 years. Shaul was the first king in the Jewish nation, and it's all also because from her descendant, from Binyamin king. So Rachel got first king. It's true that Leah, because she started to pray to Hashem first, she was afraid to get married to Esau, so she was praying and asking Hashem not to get married to him. So she got the first children. She got Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. It's true, but Rachel, because of the action that she did, the first kings were coming from her. We know that also Mashiach ben Yosef will come first before Mashiach ben David. And all this is because of her silence, because of her power, because she was so strong, not to embarrass her sister. Something interesting. So it says about Esther, it says about Shaul, בדבר המלוכה לא הגיד. Shmuel comes and he crowns Shaul. When somebody gets fame, usually he loves to share it with everybody around him. Let's say there's an official, right? They want to vote for him. What they want to do for some fame, for some advertising, they ask more people to work for him, and in the internet and in the news, and people want advertising, people want publicity, people want people to know about them. Comes Shmuel, crowns the first king in the Jewish nation, and when he meets people afterwards, he doesn't boast around and say, I became the king. He was so humble, and he got it from Rachel. Rachel never boasted around and told you, Leah, you know what I did for you? And also Esther. Esther, her name was Hadassah, not Esther. But they call her Esther because she was high hiding. She was covering herself. Mordechai told her not to say, not to reveal where she's coming from, so that the miracle will be stronger. So all these years she doesn't tell the king, as much as he tries to tell her. And he's a king, he's allowed to. He's supposed to ask her to know where she's coming from. She doesn't tell him. She doesn't tell him where she's coming from. She was so strong in this. Again, she got it from Rachel. So Rachel did not give in to her sisters because of some weakness, because she didn't know, because she knew what she's doing, she was aware of it. We know that Rachel, she had guts if needed. When her husband is asking his wife's advice, so what to do? Your father is trying to trick me. It says, Vatan Rachel veLeah. Vatan means she answered. First Rachel, even though Leah was older than her, Rachel answers first. Because when it's time to take action, she's not afraid to say what she wants to say. Or she took the trafim, these idols that her father was worshipping, she took it away and she hid it. Because she didn't want him to worship idols. When she needed to do certain things, she did it. She didn't have a problem. But here, it's not because of her weakness. She was aware and she knew what she was doing and she was happy with what she was doing. Okay? And it's interesting. See what happens when you keep quiet, when you give in, and when you give respect to somebody else. When Yaakov realized that Lavan tricked him, what happened? Did he come and complain to Rachel? How come you did such a thing? We had an agreement. I gave you the signs. Why did you give the signs? Did we see that he ever confronted her for that? No. He came to Lavan, his father-in-law. How come you tricked me? Why not Rachel? Rachel, you have an agreement with your husband, with your fiancé, right? And if you go and betray your husband, you're not right. He doesn't go and complain to her. He appreciated her. He saw that she's so special. He never complained. He loved her more. This is what it says about Leah. It says, Vayar Hashem kisnoai. God forbid. She wasn't hated by, Yaakov didn't hate her, but he loved Rachel more. Because of this action, he saw how she cares so much for her sister. He loved her more. He appreciated her more for that. That's the beauty of this. When you give in, when you hold on something, when you don't answer your husband right away, or to your friend right away, you are more respected. People love you more. This is how it goes. We see the example from Rachel. So it says, Min'i kolech mi bechi. Hashem tells her, don't cry, don't cry. Min'i kolech mi bechi. The initials of Mekabetz nidchei amo Israel is Min'i. Prevent yourself from crying. And it's all because of your merit that your children are going to go back to Israel. Rachel Imenu was also, she saw in prophecy that the Jewish men, they will fail in the golden calf. Jewish women were not part of it. Okay? They didn't want to give their jewelry, and therefore we know that we have Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is a holiday for women. Women decided not to make all kind of hard jobs in this day, not to make laundry and stuff like that. Okay? Because they were not participating in the golden calf. And it says that Abraham tiken, he fixed the tefillah of Shacharit, Yitzchak mincha, Yaakov arvit, Rachel musaf shel Rosh Chodesh. It says, Rashi chodashim le'amcha natata, initials Rachel. Rachel saw she saw in prophecy that Jewish women were not part of it, so she fixed the tefillah of Musaf for Rosh Chodesh, because Rosh Chodesh is a special day for women. Okay. After Rachel passed away, she was 26 when she passed away. She was 26.
Not 36?
Some say 36, some say 26. I saw 26.
What age did she get married?
How old was she when she got married?
So there are all kind of versions, all kind of midrashim. Let's not go into it. She was young. She was young. Even if she was 36, she was young. But still, even though she passed away and she's in the middle of the way, Yaakov didn't bury her in any place. It was the middle of the way in a purpose, because Jewish people were going into exile and they saw her and they were crying in the grave. Also, Yosef, when he was sold by his brothers to the Arabs over there, he also happened to be next to her grave, and he comes to the grave and he says, Ima, what's going to happen with me? She tells him, don't worry, everything will be okay, don't worry, I'll be with you. And it says in certain midrashim that I read, it's so beautiful, she kept coming to him, she kept appearing to him and telling him, it's supposed to be like that, don't worry, I'm praying for you, everything will be okay. It says that even in the time of the sin, there's a famous midrash, everybody knows that his father appeared to him and that's why he prevented himself from the sin. It says that even his mother appeared to him. In the time that he was in Egypt, he wanted so much to send a message to his father, I'm alive, don't cry for me, I'm alive. She didn't like him. She told him, how do you call it? It's something that is written in heaven. This is the way it's supposed to be done. Don't worry, don't send this message. Your father will find it out later on. She keeps telling him it's from heaven, it's from Hashem. Don't worry, everything will be good one day. Okay? She keeps giving him support. Okay, even though she passed away. Many times it says that when big rabbis were crying for the redemption of the Jewish people, and they want to see the Geulah, the Shekhinah, I'm sorry. So it says that they saw the Shekhinah by a woman that appeared to them. They come to the holy, to the Kotel HaMaravi, to the Wailing Wall over there, Western Wall, and they cry and they see a woman going in a black and going around. No women were there, and as they were asleep and they had a dream, they said that this is the Shekhinah. It appears by the image of Imenu. Imenu, she represents mercy in this world. Today, when people go to the Baruch Hashem, we have the Western Wall, we have Kever Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, we have the Or